Hey, welcome back. I'm Nix, your intuitive coach and energy alignment mentor, and this is your weekly energy update where we track what's moving through the collective field so you can move with it instead of against it. Now, if you've been following these weekly or even monthly updates for a while now, then chances are you too have felt the weight of the going inward, the shadow work, the obstacle climbing, the peeling back the layers, the sitting in the confusion and discomfort and fog. It's like week after week, the energy has been asking a lot of us. However, this week feels a little different, and I felt it before I even looked at a single transit. The posture of this energy feels a bit taller, like something has shifted. And when I looked at the cosmos, it kind of confirmed a few things for me. Now, we do have three transits shaping this week, and together they kind of tell a story of return and grace. On May 31st, we have the blue full moon in Sagittarius. That's the second full moon in the same calendar month, which makes it rare. Now, Sagittarius energy is very expansive, truth seeking, freedom loving. This moon is bringing revelations, breakthroughs, and an invitation to devote yourself to what actually expands your life. Then on June 1st, Mercury enters Cancer, and just like that, the mental sharpness of Gemini season softens into something more feeling based, more intuitive, more heart led. Conversations go deeper, communication becomes less about being right and more about being real. And then on June 2nd, Jupiter returns to Cancer. Now, Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, abundance, expansion, and grace. It's exalted in Cancer, meaning this is where it operates at its absolute highest and most powerful. Now, Jupiter dipped into Cancer briefly in 2025, retrograded back into Gemini, and now it's coming home. So, after months of intensity, of pressure, of being pushed and pulled whichever way and asked to face everything, grace is returning to the field. Now, the transits have spoken, so let's see what the cards have to say now before we get started. Each week, we go through 4 cards. The first one gives us the energy of the week. The second one tells us what's being asked of us. The third one highlights the energy center calling for our attention. And the fourth one shows us how to hold it all and integrate it together. Now, the first card up, we've got. So this is full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in the way. I'm hoping that the lighting works. Now, so the energy of this week is that of the full moon in Leo. And this is very different from what we've been sitting in. For weeks, the narrative has been about going inward, gaining clarity, rebuilding yourself from the inside out. This week, the energy pivots and asks you something a bit different. Who are you operating as right now? I'm hearing check yourself before you disrespect yourself and others, because there is a fine line between confidence and cockiness, and this full moon is shining a very bright light on which side of that line you are standing on. So, who's essentially running the show? Is it you or is it your ego? Now, the distinction that I think we should sit with is a confident person takes up space without dimming the light of others, and a cocky person takes up space to snuff the light out of others. And that is almost always rooted in insecurity, in lack of self awareness, in lack of self worthiness. Cockiness is a mask, an illusion projected outward so nobody sees what's actually going on underneath. But people see it. They might not be saying anything, but they see it, okay? And as a result, some of you may be noticing shifts in your relational dynamics right now with a loved one, with colleagues, with family, maybe even yourself. There's distance where there wasn't before, maybe disconnection or discomfort, maybe some resentment quietly brewing, maybe boundaries are being placed around you that you didn't expect. And that's because people are not resonating with this energy. What you think is confidence is landing as dominance, as like, look at me, not at we, as in there's only room at the top for me, not there's room at the top for all of us. So take that energy, redirect it, pour it into something creative, something productive, something that actually serves your evolution and the evolution of the connections around you. Because cockiness creates obstacles, incompetence opens doors, okay? Now, another layer coming in, the full moon in Leo can also speak to tension between, like building between your own needs and the needs of the people in your network. So if it's not the cockiness piece that resonates, ask yourself where you might be out of balance between your needs and everybody else's. Either way, the invitation is the same. Release the pride, check the ego, ground back into the evolved version of yourself that has been trying to move through you all this time, okay? And then maybe sit with this question: what are you afraid of being seen as? What shame or embarrassment has the mask been protected you from? Okay, that may be, yeah, that's the question that you should sit with this week. Okay, now next we have Shaman, Ancient Healing Wisdom. So what I'm getting is balance equals healing. I guess that's the medicine of this card. So much of what we go through, so much of what keeps us feeling lost or disconnected, or like something is fundamentally missing, it's like we've forgotten that we are not separate from the divine, from source, from God, great spirit, the universe, the creator, whatever name sits right in your body when you hear it, okay? That sense of separation, it's not real. It's a story that the mind tells, but it's one of the most painful, often quiet stories we carry. And if you've been feeling disconnected from yourself, from your purpose, from something bigger than you, that's probably what may be like laying underneath it, okay? So this week, begin healing that relationship with spirit, with source, with the divine. However, you cannot do that without healing the relationship with yourself first. It goes hand in hand, right? And that's why this card went straight for, or the first card went straight for the ego, I think, because the ego is one of the primary things keeping you feeling separate from others, from yourself, from your higher self, from the version of you that is more whole. Now, we're still in Gemini season, right? And that's still mental, story-driven air energy. And this card is asking you to look at those stories that are still circling. Not in an obsessive, analyzing way, but to really sit with them, to study them, to understand what they're actually telling you about who you are, how you love yourself, what you desire, why you work towards the things that you do. These stories don't just shape how you show up for yourself. They shape essentially everything, your connections, your desires, your fears, your purpose. So choose the thoughts that support wholeness this week, but also allow the unsavory thoughts, those shadowy thoughts, to surface without judgment. Observe them, because in the observing, without the spiral, there is enormous wisdom. The guidance for healing and alignment is in the witnessing, not the fixing or the forcing, just the witnessing, okay? So allow healing to happen. The wisdom for it lives within you. It always has, okay? Now, there goes my tummy. Okay, so we are back in the crown chakra this week, and it comes with the energy of confusion already. Okay, so confusion is not the enemy. Confusion is actually a sign that you are indeed in the in-between. You are actively in that space of uncertainty. You are no longer who you were, and you are not yet fully who you're becoming. So in that in-between space, that sense of confusion is loud and uncomfortable, maybe even highly annoying, but it's actually growth in motion. The clarity you seek is in the stories you're still sitting with, the emotions that keep looping. So keep decoding, keep deciphering. The answer is in there. The yes or no that you've been waiting for, only you can give that to yourself. The path you know you should walk, only you can choose it. Others can offer guidance, but your journey is innately yours, okay? Your mental landscape is yours. Your knowing is yours. There is going to be discomfort. There is going to be fear and resistance as things continue to clarify. That's just a part of the experience. So remember, every emotion, every sensation, every feeling is just, it's a compass. Learn to navigate with your compass rather than waiting for the fog to clear completely before you take a step, okay? And please know this. You are further along than you think you are, like so much further. You are not in the same place you once were, even if it sometimes feels that way. When the fog clears, and it will, you are going to look back and see exactly how far you've actually traveled. The confusion is not keeping you still. It's showing you that you don't need an immediate answer. The lesson is not in the destination. It is in the journey through the fog. Okay? I felt that one. And now how we hold it all together is transmutation. Okay. Okay, so transmutation, it's alchemy. It's the alchemy of turning your shit into gold, okay? Which makes this card kind of tie the entire reading together pretty well. This is what all of it has kind of been building towards. All of that inner work, all of that digging, all of that peeling back of all the layers, all of the choosing your path or having it chosen for you, uncomfortably so, if that's the case. All of that sitting in the discomfort and the confusion and the shadow, all of that honest self-assessment, all of it. Essentially, it was fuel, and now you have enough to actually move. So at this point, your intention should be more clear now than it was more like a few months ago. your why should be coming more sharper and focused. And if that's not the case, that's okay. It just means that you are still in the resistance, you're still working through it. And to that, I suggest just go back and revisit some past updates, regardless of what the transits were at the time. The collective energy still stands, and the guidance, it's honestly, it's timeless. But if you are at the point where things are more clear, please understand that yes, there is still discomfort. Yes, there is still confusion and uncertainty, but you have more than enough information, more than enough self-knowledge, more than enough inner fire. So forge ahead. Every time you feel stuck, frustrated, or drained this week, use it. Don't let it stop you. Let it redirect you. Let it fuel you. The energy that has been holding you back has the capacity to work for you. The moment you give it the right direction, right? Don't take it as a metaphor. It's actual alchemy. And with Jupiter returning to Cancer this week, grace is back in the field, right? So things are softening, abundance is building, not because you finally got lucky, but because you've been doing the work, you've been showing up, you sat with the hard things, you kept going, even when you couldn't see the path. And now, quietly, without drama, without force, life is beginning to give back. So devote yourself to what expands you, to what treats you kindly, to what encourages your faith, to what makes your universe feel bigger, not smaller. That's the Sagittarius full moon medicine, right? That's the Jupiter in Cancer invitation. That's the transmutation in action. You earned it, so receive it. And that is the energy for May 31st to June 6th. Something, like I said earlier, is shifting in the field this week. So if you feel it, drop a fire emoji in the comments and then tell me what are you ready to devote yourself to now that the inner work has been laying the foundation? I genuinely like to know. And if you're new here, welcome. Perfect timing. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next week. And if someone in your life has been doing the hard work quietly and may need a reminder that grace is on its way, please send this to them. This might be exactly what they need to hear today. So take care of your beautiful energy in the meantime, and I'll see you next time.